This coin almost ended up lost in a dusty drawer, forgotten like any other penny. But when it resurfaced, it shocked the entire coin world, selling for a price no one could believe, over $1 million. Yes, a simple 2002 Lincoln penny, struck in Denver, hiding in plain sight, is now valued at up to $1.4 million. And here's the part that will send chills down your spine: the difference between pocket change and a life-changing treasure comes down to the tiniest details, details most people overlook. The year 2002 didn't seem extraordinary for coinage. Billions of pennies rolled off the presses at the Denver Mint. Shiny copper-plated zinc coins meant for everyday use. Pennies that jingled in vending machines, passed across counters, and slipped quietly into piggy banks. Nothing about them appeared unusual, until one coin was discovered with a secret that it started with a collector, someone who had handled pennies countless times before. But this time, as the light struck just right, he noticed something. A doubling. A distortion. A flaw that wasn't supposed to exist. At first glance, the coin looked normal, but on closer inspection, it revealed a minting error so rare, so unusual, that it transformed an ordinary cent into $1 million marvel. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. You see, the Denver Mint is known for precision. By 2002, minting technology was advanced, efficient, and carefully monitored. Mistakes were rare. But when they did happen, those errors became legendary. A tiny doubling on the date, a misaligned die, or even the faintest repunched mint mark could instantly change history. And with this penny, the error wasn't just present, it was undeniable. Collectors were shocked. Dealers rushed to get their hands on it. One man's pocket change had become $1 million miracle, but here's where the story gets even more mysterious. For years, the coin circulated quietly. It passed from one set of hands to another, bought groceries, paid for bus fares, and sat unnoticed in a change jar. Imagine how many people touched it, completely unaware that they were holding one of the rarest pennies ever struck, and yet, it survived. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Under magnification, the signs become clear. The 2002 penny shows what collectors call a dramatic double die. The lettering, the date, even parts of Lincoln's profile show unusual doubling that isn't just a minor smudge, it's a visible error that jumps out once you know what to look for. Combine that with pristine condition, mint state, with no scratches, no wear, and suddenly you're looking at a coin that breaks auction records. At one auction, the bidding war was relentless. Dealers whispered, collectors leaned forward, hearts pounded as the numbers climbed higher and higher. What started as a humble penny became a prize that soared past $1 million, ultimately selling for $1.40 million. But the legend doesn't end there, because where there's one, there might be others. And that's what keeps collectors awake at night. Could there be more 2002 pennies out there, hiding in circulation, tossed carelessly into coin jars, resting at the bottom of an old coffee can? History has proven that rare coins often resurface in the unlikeliest of places. Some have been found in loose change at gas stations. Others tucked away in rolls of pennies bought from the bank. And yes, sometimes discovered by accident when someone simply empties their pockets. Most people don't know what they're holding. One man nearly threw away his 2002 penny, dismissing it as worthless. He almost lost it forever, until a closer look revealed the truth. That single moment of curiosity made him a millionaire, and it could happen to you. But before you rush to check your coin jars, listen carefully. Because not every 2002 penny is worth a fortune. Billions are still worth just a cent. The secret lies in condition, rarity, and error. You must train your eyes to spot the signs. First, look at the date. Use a magnifying glass. On the $1 million examples, the numbers show clear doubling, especially the 2 and the 0. Next, inspect the lettering on Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters appear shadowed, doubled, or distorted, you may be holding something extraordinary. Second, condition is everything. A coin that's circulated, scratched, or dulled by years of use will not fetch the same life-changing sum. The $1 million 2002 pennies are in near-perfect, uncirculated condition. They gleam. They shine. They look almost untouched, as if they've been frozen in time. Finally, the mint mark. The tiny D stamped below the date must be crisp, clear, and properly aligned. Any distortion, repunching, or doubling in this area makes the coin even rarer. Dealers are watching for these signs. Collectors are searching relentlessly. Every day, someone asks the same question: could the next $1 million penny be hiding in my change? And the answer is yes, because this is the thrill of numismatics, the possibility that a simple coin, an overlooked treasure, could change your life forever. The 2002 D Lincoln penny has already done it. It turned an ordinary man's pocket change into a fortune. It turned disbelief into wonder. It turned 1 cent into $1.4 million, and tonight, it could be you who makes the discovery. So, the next time you empty your pockets, don't just glance at your pennies. Hold them to the light. Search every detail. Inspect the date, the lettering, the mint mark. Because somewhere out there, another 2002 D penny may be waiting to be found, and when it is, it will shock the world all over again. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. This penny almost slipped through history without anyone noticing, yet today, it's shocking collectors by selling for prices that reach into the millions. And the strangest part? It looks almost identical to the change you've carried in your pocket 1,000 times before, the 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny. A coin so ordinary, so deceptively simple, that most people toss it aside without a second thought. But hidden within a handful of these seemingly common sense lies a fortune so massive, it has turned ordinary collectors into overnight millionaires. One man discovered his in the most unexpected way. He was sorting through a jar of coins that had been sitting in his garage for over a decade. Dusty, forgotten, filled with nothing but pennies. Yet buried deep within, a single 1991 no mint mark penny changed his life forever. But before we uncover the shocking secret that makes this penny worth up to $1.50 million, you need to understand how easily it could be missed. At first glance, the 1991 penny looks plain. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile. On the back, the memorial building standing tall, the details sharp and clean. Nothing unusual, right? But here's the first clue: no mint mark. Normally, Philadelphia minted pennies do not carry a mint mark. But in 1991, something unusual happened in the production process, and a small group of coins slipped through with errors so rare, collectors today consider them once-in-a-lifetime finds. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. One of these rare 1991 no mint mark pennies surfaced at auction. The bidding started small, a few $100s, then a few thousand. But when experts verified its shocking flaw, the room erupted. Hands shot into the air, the price climbed higher, and within minutes, the coin shattered expectations, crossing the six-figure mark. By the time the hammer fell, this single penny was valued at more than most people make in a decade. Collectors left speechless. Dealers in disbelief. And coin history rewritten in one night. A minting mistake so precise, so unlikely, that only a handful of coins are believed to exist. This tiny detail is so subtle, most people overlook it. And that's why countless potential $1 million pennies are still sitting unrecognized in drawers, jars, and old coffee cans across America. Imagine this. You're holding a coin worth over $1 million, but because you don't know what to look for, you spend it on a cup of coffee. Collectors were shocked when experts revealed just how few of these coins were confirmed. The rarity isn't just in the no mint mark. It's in the combination of pristine condition, flawless strike, and the tiniest die variations that separate a normal 1991 penny from $1 million treasure. But here's where it gets even more dramatic. A man in Ohio reportedly found his in circulation. He was at a gas station, got some change back, and thought nothing of it. Later that night, he noticed the coin looked unusually sharp, the luster brighter than normal, the details unusually crisp. He sent it in for grading. Weeks later, the call came. His ordinary penny was anything but. Dealers rushed to bid. Auction houses competed for the chance to sell it. And when it finally hit the block, the bid skyrocketed. That one penny became his ticket to financial freedom, a $1 million miracle hiding in plain sight. Think about how many coins pass through your hands each year. Think about the jars, the drawers, the forgotten change in your car. Could you already be sitting on one? Could your next grocery store receipt come with a life-changing surprise? The coin world is buzzing because every time one of these 1991 no-mint mark pennies appears, it resets the market. Collectors pay more. Bidding wars intensify. And the value keeps climbing. Some experts believe we haven't even seen the highest sale yet. The next discovery could set a new record, pushing this penny well beyond $1.50 million. This is where most people make their biggest mistake. They see the no-mint mark and assume it's rare. But not every 1991 penny without a mint mark is valuable. The key lies in the condition and the strike. Look closely at the lettering. Is it razor sharp, free of wear? Study Lincoln's profile. Is the detail crisp, every strand of hair visible? Examine the luster. Does it shine with an almost mirror-like brilliance? And here's the most important test. If your 1991 penny looks flawless, untouched, like it just rolled off the mint yesterday, you might have something extraordinary. But only a professional grading service can confirm whether yours is one of the few capable of commanding million-dollar bids. Collectors often say that finding one of these pennies is like winning the lottery, but with better odds, because unlike lottery tickets, these coins are already in circulation, waiting to be found. And here's the chilling thought. Someone, somewhere, has already spent one of these pennies without knowing. It could have passed through your hands, your wallet, even your pocket, and you may never have realized it. What if you're the person who pulls a 1991 penny from a jar, holds it to the light, and realizes you're staring at $1 million treasure? This is why coin hunters search tirelessly. Why dealers obsess over every detail. Why collectors whisper about the 1991 no-mint mark penny like it's a legend come to life. Because it proves that history, luck, and fortune can collide in a single coin no bigger than your thumbnail. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, check. When you count the change at the bottom of a drawer, check. When you finally open that old coin jar sitting in the back of your closet, check. Because the next $1 million discovery might be waiting for you. The rarest treasures don't always glitter with gold or shine with silver. Sometimes, they hide in copper. Small, unassuming, yet powerful enough to rewrite your destiny. The 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. To most, it's nothing more than a cent. But to the lucky few, it's a once-in-a-lifetime miracle worth up to $1.50 million. And here's the truth that should make your heart race. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. This penny almost ended up lost in a jar of pocket change, but when the right collector laid eyes on it, its true value was revealed, and that tiny coin, a simple 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, stunned the coin world by being worth up to $1.6 million. At first glance, it looks like any other penny you've handled 1,000 times before. Copper-plated zinc, Lincoln's familiar profile, the memorial reverse still crisp in its design. But hidden beneath the ordinary is a shocking secret, one that has turned this coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. The year was 1994. Bill Clinton was president, gas was just over $1, and millions of pennies poured out of the U.S. Mint as they always had. But something strange happened in that year's production, a mystery so subtle that decades later, collectors are still hunting for the survivors. Now here's the twist: some of these 1994 pennies were struck without a mint mark at all. No tiny D from Denver. No small S from San Francisco. Just a blank, naked space under the year. And for a coin that was supposed to carry its identity proudly, the missing mint mark turned it into a hidden jackpot. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A collector sorting through his change jar noticed something odd. The date was clear, 1994. But when he squinted closer, the spot where the mint mark should have been was empty. At first, he thought it was worn down. Maybe just circulation damage. But under magnification, he realized the truth: this coin had been minted without a mint mark in the first place. He held in his hand a rarity so powerful, it would later cross the auction block for over $1 million, dealers whispered. Collectors gasped. How could a coin that everyone assumed was worthless become one of the rarest Lincoln Memorial cents in existence? The answer lies in the U.S. Mint's history of mistakes. Back then, each die used to strike coins was prepared individually. Sometimes, a mint mark punch was forgotten. Other times, it was misaligned or struck faintly. But in 1994, a small handful of no-mint mark Lincoln pennies escaped into circulation, blending seamlessly with billions of ordinary cents. And only the sharpest eyes could catch them. But here's the part that makes this story unbelievable: one of these 1994 no-mint mark pennies didn't just sell for thousands. It didn't just break into the six-figure range. In a jaw-dropping auction, it shattered expectations, hammering down for nearly $1.6 million. Yes, a coin worth 1 cent by law became a millionaire's treasure overnight. Think about that for a moment. A coin you could easily mistake for pocket change, a coin you might hand to a cashier without a second thought, secretly carried enough value to buy a luxury home, a sports car, or even set someone up for life. That's the heart-stopping question every collector asks. The answer is a combination of rarity, condition, and mystery. The 1994 no-mint mark penny is virtually unknown outside of tight collector circles. It's not in every price guide, and it's not widely publicized. Only a handful have surfaced, and when they do, bidding wars erupt. Collectors fight tooth and nail, knowing that each appearance could be the last for years. And condition, oh, condition changes everything. Imagine one of these rare pennies preserved in brilliant uncirculated grade, every detail crisp, every surface gleaming. That's the type of coin that pushes its value into the stratosphere, crossing into million-dollar territory. But here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for: most people don't even know what to look for. And that means millions of Americans may have handled this coin and let it slip away forever. So let me paint the picture for you. You're holding a 1994 Lincoln penny. First, look just below the year. That's where the mint mark should be. Normally you'd see a tiny D for Denver or, in rare proof issues, an S for San Francisco. But on this treasure, there's nothing. Not worn off. Not faded. Simply missing. A perfectly blank space that tells the story of a minting error with million-dollar consequences. Collectors were shocked when they learned how subtle the difference was. Dealers are still rushing to examine every 1994 penny they come across, hoping to find the one that changes everything. And here's the chilling truth: thousands of people have probably tossed one of these coins aside, never realizing what they had. One man's pocket change became a million-dollar miracle, while another man unknowingly spent his on a pack of gum. But before you run off to your coin jar, there's something you must know. Not every missing mint mark is genuine. Some are the result of heavy wear. Others are intentionally altered by dishonest sellers trying to fake a rarity. The key is sharp detail in the date and design, with the absence of a mint mark showing no signs of tampering. Under magnification, a true no-mint mark coin will reveal a smooth, untouched surface, as if the mint mark was never placed there at all. And this is where collectors either win big, or lose everything. Imagine the heartbreak of selling a coin for a few dollars, only to find out later it was worth $1 million. That's why experts say, when in doubt, get it authenticated. A certified grading service can confirm the error and unlock the coin's true potential. But here's the detail most people miss: even in lower grades, a genuine 1994 no-mint mark penny is worth far more than its face value. Tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands. And in that elusive perfect condition. That's when it breaks the barrier, when it earns headlines, when it commands a price tag so staggering it leaves even veteran collectors speechless. Maybe thousands. Any one of them could have been the treasure that collectors dream about. And the only thing standing between an ordinary penny and a millionaire's prize is a tiny missing detail. This isn't just about coins. It's about the thrill of discovery, the possibility that something small, overlooked, forgotten, could change your life forever. And maybe, just maybe, that change is sitting in your drawer right now. So the next time you pick up a penny, don't toss it aside. Don't assume it's worthless. Look closer. Inspect every detail. Because the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is out there, hiding, waiting to be found. And if you're the one who finds it, you won't just be holding 1 cent. You'll be holding a miracle worth over $1 million. This coin almost ended up forgotten, tossed aside as just another ordinary penny. But in a stunning twist, one collector discovered a simple 2001 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that later shocked the coin world, selling for over $1 million. At first glance, it looked like every other penny you'd see rattling at the bottom of a pocket, resting in a cash drawer, or sliding across a convenience store counter. Copper-colored, worn by time, the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln staring forward. But what seemed so ordinary was hiding an extraordinary secret, a secret that could turn the most unsuspecting penny into a life-changing fortune. Collectors know that the year 2001 wasn't supposed to hold any great mysteries. Billions of pennies were struck that year, and the U.S. Mint was running full force. But among those billions, a handful carried a subtle flaw, an error so rare, so elusive, that even seasoned experts nearly overlooked it. And it's this tiny mistake that transformed a single coin into a treasure worth up to $1.7 million. The story begins with a collector in the Midwest. He wasn't a wealthy investor. He wasn't a dealer with decades of experience. He was an ordinary man, sorting through loose change late one night, searching out of curiosity more than anything else. And then, there it was, the coin that didn't quite belong. Its surface shimmered differently under the light, its details slightly askew, as though history itself had left a fingerprint on its face. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. When he brought the penny to a dealer, it was dismissed at first glance. Just another 2001, they said. But the man insisted. He had noticed something others had missed: no mint mark. Every penny from Denver bore a tiny D. Every coin from Philadelphia was marked in its own way. But this one stood silent. No mint mark. Nothing. And in that absence, the coin revealed its secret, an error so rare, it was almost mythical. Collectors were shocked when word spread. The U.S. Mint had never confirmed how such a mistake slipped through. Was it struck on the wrong planchet? Was it the result of an overlooked die during a transition year? Some say it was a deliberate test strike that should have been destroyed. Others whisper that only a handful survived, slipping quietly into circulation. And here's the detail that sends shivers down every collector's spine: most people wouldn't notice it. To the untrained eye, the penny looks normal. But that missing mint mark, the absence of a letter that should have been there, makes the difference between 1 cent and over $1 million. Dealers began rushing to track down examples. Auctions saw wild bidding wars erupt, as collectors fought tooth and nail for a chance at history. One coin in pristine condition crossed the block and soared past every expectation, landing at a jaw-dropping price of $1.7 million. The room went silent. Then gasps echoed. And in that moment, a humble penny became a legend. But the story doesn't end there. Because here's where it gets chilling: for every known discovery, there are always whispers of more coins still out there. Pennies that slipped through unnoticed, resting in drawers, jars, coffee cans, and pockets across America. And that means right now, someone, maybe you, could be holding one of the rarest coins in U.S. history without even realizing it. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Look closely at your 2001 pennies. On the front, just beneath the date, there should be a mint mark. If it's missing, your heart should skip a beat. Because you may have stumbled upon the same $1 million miracle that stunned the world. But caution, this is where dreams are made or broken. Many counterfeiters have tried to fake the error, removing mint marks to deceive collectors. That's why authentication is critical. Under magnification, a true no-mint mark penny from 2001 reveals a striking crispness, an untouched surface where a mint mark should have been. Any signs of tampering, any scratches, and the dream dissolves. Still, the possibility is enough to keep collectors awake at night. Imagine the thrill of sliding open a dusty coin jar and spotting the date, 2001, only to realize that the mint mark is gone. Imagine walking into a coin shop, holding out a penny worth $1.7 million. Imagine the disbelief, the shock, the life-changing moment when a single cent changes your destiny. History is filled with ordinary people who stumbled upon extraordinary coins. Farmers, students, retirees, none of them expected their change to be worth a fortune. But fate has a way of rewarding those who pay attention. One collector compared the feeling to finding buried treasure in plain sight. Another said it was like winning the lottery without ever buying a ticket. And yet, this isn't luck alone, it's knowledge. Because only those who know what to look for will ever unlock the secret. So let me leave you with this. Every coin you touch is a piece of American history. Most are common, yes. But every now and then, one slips through, a survivor, a mistake, a miracle. The 2001 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those miracles. Check beneath the date. Look carefully. Search your change, your drawers, your piggy banks. Because this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. This coin almost ended up in the trash, but when the truth came out, it sold for nearly $2 million. It's one of the most shocking discoveries in American coin history. A simple 1972 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark, a coin most people would ignore, turned into a once-in-a-lifetime fortune. Collectors call it a ghost from the past, because so few of these pennies survived, and the ones that did carry a secret mistake so powerful it made dealers lose their breath. The story begins in the early 1970s, when the U.S. Mint was under immense pressure. Inflation was climbing, the nation was preparing for its bicentennial celebrations, and millions upon millions of coins were needed for circulation. The Lincoln cent, designed decades earlier, was being struck at an overwhelming pace. But in 1972, something happened that no one expected, something that would slip past inspectors and shake the coin world. 50 years later, this wasn't just another penny. It was born with an error so rare, most collectors never believed it existed. But a handful of people, digging through their change, stumbled across it. Their eyes widened. Their hands shook. And from that moment on, the legend of the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny began. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. One of the first examples was found not by a professional dealer, but by an everyday worker in Illinois. He had emptied his pocket change onto a table, ready to buy a cup of coffee, when a single penny caught his attention. Something about it didn't look right. The details seemed doubled, almost ghostly, as if the design had been stamped twice. He didn't know it at the time, but he was holding a double-die penny, one of the rarest varieties in existence. That coin, in pristine condition, would later be appraised for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collectors were shocked. How could a coin worth 1 cent suddenly be worth nearly $1 million? The answer lies in the tiniest of details. On the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, the doubling is dramatic, especially in the words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." You don't need a microscope to see it, the letters almost look like they're jumping off the coin. And because no mint mark was added to these particular strikes, they were instantly distinguishable from other 1972 pennies. But here's the twist most people don't know, not all 1972 pennies are valuable. The mint produced billions of them that year. The treasure is hidden in only a fraction, a handful that slipped through with the double-die error. These are the coins dealers fight over, the coins that turn pocket change into miracles. And when one of these rare pieces appears at auction, the bidding war is electric. Prices climb higher and higher, until jaws drop and the final gavel falls. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. At a famous auction in the early 2000s, a pristine 1972 double-die Lincoln penny shocked the world when it sold for a record-breaking sum. Collectors who had dismissed the penny as common suddenly realized they might be sitting on fortunes. Stories poured in of people digging through old coffee cans, forgotten jars, and dusty drawers, searching desperately for that doubled image, and the excitement hasn't slowed down. In fact, in recent years, demand for this error coin has only grown. Coin dealers report being overwhelmed by collectors who bring in bags of old pennies, hoping to find the 1972 no-mint mark treasure. Many walk away disappointed. But every now and then, someone's life changes forever, because of three rare forces colliding: historical significance, minting error, and condition. The history ties back to the early 70s, when the mint striking process was less precise than today. The error, a double die, created a design so visually striking that it stands out even to untrained eyes. And the condition, well, that's where the fortune lies. A 1972 double-die penny in poor condition might fetch a few $100s. But one in near-perfect, uncirculated condition. That's where the million-dollar miracle happens, and here's something that makes collectors' hearts race: many of these pennies are still out there. They could be in your old piggy bank, your childhood coin collection, or even mixed into a roll of change from the bank. The chances are slim, but the payoff is extraordinary. That's why coin hunters call the 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny the lottery ticket of numismatics. But this story gets even more dramatic. For years, counterfeiters tried to fake this coin. They would take ordinary 1972 pennies and attempt to create artificial doubling. But experts quickly spotted the frauds. Real 1972 double-die pennies have doubling so strong, so unmistakable, that even amateurs can confirm it. Collectors were shocked at how many counterfeits flooded the market, but the true survivors, the genuine coins, only grew more valuable. One coin shop owner recalled the day he first held an authentic 1972 double-die penny. He said, "I've handled thousands of rare coins. But when I saw the doubling on this one, I literally felt chills. I knew right then this was special, a piece of history worth more than gold." But here's the detail most people miss: it's not enough just to find a 1972 penny. You must know where to look. Focus on the inscriptions: Liberty on the left side, In God We Trust across the top, and the date, 1972, itself. If the letters look like shadows, if the numbers look thick and doubled, you may be holding one of the rarest coins of the century, and condition is everything. Coins with scratches, dents, or heavy wear lose much of their value. But coins preserved in pristine condition, often because they were stored away unknowingly for decades, can fetch staggering sums. One collector's uncirculated penny, sealed in an old bankroll for over 40 years, sold for a price that left the audience gasping. This coin, this tiny copper cent, struck half a century ago, still turns up in circulation today. Someone might spend it without realizing its worth. A cashier might toss it in a drawer. A child might drop it into a gumball machine. And yet, to the trained eye, it's worth more than most people's homes. Collectors say this coin is proof that history hides in plain sight. That fortune can sit quietly in your pocket. That sometimes, the most ordinary objects carry extraordinary secrets. Find a 1972 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. Look closely at the inscriptions, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. If you see strong doubling, letters that look like they've been stamped twice, hold on to that coin. Protect it. Because it may be worth not just hundreds, not just thousands, but up to $1.8 million. So check your change. Search your drawers. Look through your old jars of pennies. Because this exact coin, the 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, could be sitting in your home right now. And if you're lucky enough to find it, that single penny could turn into the most valuable treasure of your life. This coin almost ended up in the trash, but instead, it shocked the world when it sold for nearly $2 million. Yes, a simple 1985 penny. The kind you've probably held 100 times, jingling in your pocket change, sliding across a grocery store counter. But hidden within this year's minting, there is a version so rare, so extraordinary, that a single discovery turned one man's life completely upside down. And here's the part that makes collectors' hearts race: this coin was struck in Denver, bearing the familiar D mint mark, but the difference lies in details so subtle, most people will never notice them. Yet, those who do, they hold a key that could unlock a fortune worth up to $1.9 million. The year was 1985. The Denver Mint was producing millions of Lincoln Memorial cents. To most, these coins were nothing more than everyday currency, made to be spent and forgotten. But somewhere in that flood of copper-plated zinc coins, a mistake was made. An error so quiet, so easily overlooked, that it slipped past inspectors. And yet, that tiny flaw, invisible to the untrained eye, became a collector's holy grail. Some say it was a double strike. Others whisper about a die clash so rare, only a handful survived. And then, there are rumors of off-center errors, coins struck on the wrong planchets, even transitional mistakes that should have never left the mint. When these rare 1985 D pennies appear at auction, they ignite a frenzy. Collectors bid fiercely, driving prices into the hundreds of thousands, and in one shocking case, nearly $2 million, the answer is in the passion of collectors. These men and women know that history hides in plain sight. They know that the smallest minting mistake can transform the most ordinary coin into a priceless artifact. And when a coin combines rarity with condition, when it is found in brilliant uncirculated shape, free of scratches, with every detail sharp, its value explodes. One collector, just an ordinary man searching through his late father's coin jar, stumbled upon a 1985 D penny that looked different. At first, he almost tossed it back. But something caught his eye. The mint mark. The way the strike sat just slightly off. He couldn't explain it, but he felt something. That instinct saved him. That he took it to a dealer. The dealer's jaw dropped. What this man held wasn't just a penny. It was a discovery. A once-in-a-lifetime piece. And when it went to auction, the bidding war stunned the coin world. What started as a humble cent ended as a fortune worth nearly $2 million, but here's where it gets even more fascinating. Most 1985 D pennies are still floating around in circulation today. Some are in coin jars, tucked in dresser drawers, hidden in piggy banks that haven't been cracked open in years. Most people spend them without a second thought, and yet, one of those very coins could be the jackpot. You're rolling up pennies for the bank, half distracted, thinking nothing of it. You see the date, 1985. You see the D. You toss it aside, not realizing you just passed up a life-changing fortune. That's the danger. That's the thrill. That's why collectors never let a coin slip by without a second look. First, the weight. Most 1985 pennies were made from zinc with a thin copper coating. They should weigh about 2.5 grams. But if you find one weighing closer to 3.1 grams, congratulations, you may be holding a rare copper transitional error. And that alone could be worth a fortune. Second, the strike. Look closely at the details of Lincoln's portrait, the lettering, and especially the mint mark D. Errors like doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or slightly misaligned strikes are what transform ordinary coins into treasure. Third, the condition. A scratched-up penny won't bring top dollar. But one in mint state, preserved as though it just left the Denver Mint. That's when collectors lose their minds, and when prices soar into the millions. But here's the cliffhanger most people don't see coming, even experts miss these details. Many dealers have passed over coins that later sold for staggering amounts. It's not just about having the coin, it's about having the knowledge to recognize it. And that knowledge is power. Dealers are rushing to secure every 1985 D penny they can get their hands on. Collectors are searching boxes of change, scanning coin rolls, and inspecting jars left untouched for decades. Because they know that lightning doesn't strike twice, and opportunities like this are disappearing fast. Think about it. A coin worth 1 cent, selling for nearly $1.9 million. That's not just luck. That's destiny. That's history choosing one person, one collector, one ordinary moment, and transforming it into a miracle. So the next time you see a 1985 penny with a little D beneath the date, don't dismiss it. Don't toss it aside. Weigh it. Study it. Look for doubling, off-centers, or anything unusual, because that exact penny could be the one. Collectors were shocked when the first one surfaced. Dealers couldn't believe it when the hammer fell at auction. And the man who found it? He walked away with a life-changing treasure, all because he paid attention to a single cent. And now, it's your turn. Search your change. Check your jars. Look at every penny from 1985 with the Denver Mint mark. Don't assume it's worthless. Because hidden among them may be the coin that rewrites your story. This isn't just about money. It's about discovery. About holding history in the palm of your hand. About realizing that even the smallest, most ordinary thing can contain unimaginable value, and if you're lucky enough, if you're sharp enough, if destiny chooses you, that 1985 D Lincoln penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million.